Is the Earth flat or a globe?
Oh, it's flat.
Okay. All right. I just want to know where we are.
Hello, David.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon for me. Good morning for you. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you. Same here.
Yeah,
We
thank
have
you for
we have
doing this.
we have a mutual friend, Ian Leahy, so that he connected us, I believe.
Absolutely, yeah. So you went to Mexico with him recently, didn't you?
We did. We did. We had a great time, and we're going again, I think.
Well, it's through Ian that I suppose I had a little bit of an interest in flat Earth before meeting Ian, very slight. And then I went to Swanage, where he lives, for a holiday, and I asked my friend to look up where the stand in the park for Swanage was. And so she came back and told me. I went down there on the Sunday morning, and there's this man stood there with the most huge yellow flag. You could not have missed it, and that was Ian. And so yeah, we got into this conversation about flat Earth, and so much has come up since, and so many people have come into come to my attention that are definitely flat earthers since then, and so I'm convinced now.
So he convinced you while you're standing in the park?
Yeah.
So standing in the park isn't so much about the lockdowns, it's more about waking up to flat Earth. Is that my understanding?
Well, the thing is, why do people say then that flat Earth is a distraction, just a distraction?
That's a great question. And when I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, looking at all of the other lies that were thrown over the world, and when flat Earth came up, I was like, oh, it's just a distraction. You're trying to discredit all of the good work that we've done. And the flat Earth, people go the flat Earth. What difference does the shape make? Flat is not a shape. Flat is a description of level and horizontal, and it doesn't matter the shape. It doesn't. That's not what matters. What matters is they have us in the Matrix. The documentary, I'll call it, with Keanu Reeves, called The Matrix. It's
Yes.
a prison for your mind. Well, the Matrix is the heliocentric system. It's a prison for your mind. It's to limit your it's to limit your world. It's to limit your view. It's to limit your understanding of who you are, where you are, what you are. So the biggest secret that the elite have, the biggest thing, the way that they control us is using the matrix, the heliocentric system, keeping us, in a prison, basically.
And
Small, insignificant, running out of food, untrue. You could stick a seed in the ground anywhere. Water will fall from the sky, and food will grow out of the ground. Okay, overpopulated, nonsense. They're lying to us about the population. Everything they tell us is a lie. Everything, and the biggest thing is who we are, where we are, and the power of our mind. They don't want us to know.
And this is our foundation. The Earth is our foundation, isn't it? So, yeah, that's our foundation. So why would they have indoctrinated us to believe this spinning ball, David?
Because if you believe you're on a spinning ball flying through an infinite space vacuum, that's pretty scary. That keeps fear in your head. False evidence appearing real. Fear is the way they control us. Because when you're in fear, you reach out to somebody to take care of you. Mommy, daddy, government, take care of me. Right? Control my mind. And the thing is, we live in this world where we have free will, where we have nobody can rule over us unless we allow them. So they always tell us what they're doing, and people are too stupid to say no, right? All you have to do is say no. All you have to do is see the lie and say no, and then it doesn't work anymore. It's like seeing the magic, the magician's trick. Wow, that's amazing, but oh, I see how he did that. That's stupid. Okay, it's literally that's the world that we live in, and they're stealing our life from us, and we're willingly giving it to them.
So what are we on then? If it's a flat Earth, is it a flat Earth spinning in space? Not even spinning, floating in space then?
Yeah, no, it's not. So, and people say, well, what's under the flat Earth? And the deepest hole ever dug is flat Earth around is only 7.5 miles, and so no one knows what's below there. So what is the flat Earth? That's a great question. The way I describe it is flat Earth is the basement of the universe. What does that mean? I just the way I describe it is literally the floor of the universe. What's below it? I don't know. I don't know because no one can get down there. But the flat Earth doesn't move, right? So what is the flat Earth? Well, first on the globe Earth, they tell us Antarctica is a continent at the bottom of a ball, and it's the highest land on Earth. Well, think about this. The Earth, they tell us, is 70% water. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat. A container of water needs lateral resistance. It needs a container. A pond is the low spot in the land where the water lays, and the water doesn't go anywhere because it's in a container. The land is consistently higher than the surface of the water. So if the world was a giant pond, this is where we live. This shoreline of our pond, the highest land on Earth, they do tell us a lot of truth, is the shoreline. It gives us our lateral resistance. It holds the water in. All of the continents and islands are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by Antarctica. So what's out here? Antarctica could be bigger than all of the continents and all of the land, all of the oceans combined, right? We don't know because we're not allowed to go beyond this pink line, which is 60 degrees south. No one's allowed to go there except there's 100 companies that you can book a very expensive 3-day vacation to go to this little peninsula right here, which is bigger than many countries, right? But they won't let you explore out here. And by the way, those 100 companies are all owned by the same guy. Why does one guy have 100 different companies competing against each other? Because they want you to believe that you can freely go to Antarctica and you have multiple choices. It's like voting here, left, right, independent. They say left, the left or the right say monster, right? So it's the same thing. It's totally controlled. So what's out there? Nobody knows. I think there's more land out there. I think there's more people out there.
A lot of people think that. A lot of people. So from all what you've investigated, Nat, there's no way that no one would know that other than the elite.
No one would know other than the elite. And, you look at who goes to Antarctica and, our John Kerry went on election day and a lot of politicians go there. I think that the real rulers of our world live outside of the shoreline of Antarctica. Maybe they live somewhere on Antarctica. Maybe they live on other continents farther out in the outer space. This is all speculation because nobody is allowed to go there. And it is controlled by, there's 8 islands going around from the Falkland Islands to the whole bunch of them that all have military bases. So if you go south to 60 degrees parallel, fighter planes are there, warships are there immediately, drones are there, and they turn you around and say, you're not allowed to go there, and they turn you around.
So what got you involved in it, David?
What got me involved in it? I was doing the Truth podcast I told you called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, and people started sending me flat Earth stuff, and I just said, you're an idiot, and I banned them from even commenting on any of our videos because they're too stupid to even watch my funny podcast, my seriously funny podcast. And then finally I was forced to look at it because somebody I trusted a lot said, Dave, you got to look into this. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to disprove it because flat Earth is stupid, right? We all know we live on a spinning space pair flying through an infinite space vacuum because that makes sense. And then I tried to disprove it, and I was like, wow, ships over the horizon. That proves it, right? But ships over the horizon is absolute nonsense, right? When you look at it, when you look at like a boat going over the horizon, it disappears for other reasons that they don't teach us. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Let me just fix that. All right, so right here, we have nothing on the horizon, but all of a sudden, there's a boat. You see that? I'm increasing the angular size. Now, look, you got all these waves in the foreground. Well, the waves closer to me are bigger. The boat is smaller. So the waves in the foreground will start hiding the boat from the bottom up.
Oh.
And the boat just disappears into nothingness. Now, a Glober would say, well, you can't see the boat because it's over the curve. But I just proved it wasn't over the curve. Because when you zoom in, how come I can't get my hands there? You're increasing the angular size And as you increase it, all of a sudden, there's the boat.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. It's how our eyes work. They don't teach you about perspective. They don't teach you about it's the Rayleigh criteria, which is the angular resolution limits of your eyes. I can show you a penny right here, but if I moved it 100 yards away, you can't see it. Whatever, I think it's 100 or 200 yards, whatever, because its angular size gets smaller than your eye's ability to resolve it. Then we could use today's consumer optics, zoom in, make that angular size bigger. Oh, there it is again, just like this boat zooms back in. Okay, so today's consumer optics have outgrown their lies.
So people like David Attenborough and Brian Cox, they would all know, wouldn't they?
David Attenborough, I don't know. Brian Cox, either he's mind controlled, hypnotized, or he's just a knowing liar. I'm pretty sure he's a knowing liar. We've tried to talk to them. Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, the lying guy with the bow tie. These are all just failed actors. Brian Cox, I'm not sure if he actually has a degree or not, but it's a degree in theoretical nonsense. I think it's Michio Kaku says, in science, if you're off by a factor of 10, that's horrible, horrible. Okay. He goes, but in cosmology, we're off by a factor of 10 to the 120th. That's 10 with 120 zeros. You know what that number is? That number is impossible. That number doesn't even exist. Okay. It's absolute insanity. People go, what do you mean that number doesn't exist? Think about this. The closest star, they tell us, is 4.5 light years away, which is 25 trillion miles. Okay. 25 trillion. What's that? 9, 10 zeros? That's only 10 zeros, not 120 zeros. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So a trillion miles, a trillion, forget miles, a trillion seconds is 31,000 years. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. Okay. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of numbers. That's ridiculous. That's 10 zeros. That's 10 zeros. Okay. Cosmology is off by a factor of insanity. Cosmology, 120, 10 to the 120th is as dumb as all the stuff they say in cosmology because it's all the same nonsense.
Oh my God. So, is it also that they're saying to us that we're on a spinning globe so that we'll give billions, trillions to NASA?
Well, NASA gets it is it $93 million a day, whatever, or no, $63 million a day. It's not, that money doesn't really go to NASA because NASA is complete and total fake agency. And I'll actually show you something that I haven't ever shown before. That money goes into black budgets. That money goes into the elites' pockets. That goes into their underground cities, child trafficking, whatever you want to say it is, whatever they're doing. NASA needs, for what they do, I'd say they can probably survive on $10,000 a day, okay? Because they're not putting anyone in space. It's absolute and complete nonsense. And I am looking for where I put this new video. Give me 1 second. So, have you watched any of their landings? Their where they land rockets upright now?
No, I haven't.
So,
well, unless that was something Ian showed us. No, yeah, I don't think so.
So Elon Musk. Well, first, jumping back a little bit, the founder of NASA, which is supposedly a rocket scientist from Russia, he was brought over, Werner von Braun, he was brought over here to run NASA. Okay. All right. We're stealing their scientists, even though he's a Nazi war criminal, allegedly. And he wrote a book in 1957 called Project Mars. And this is it, about a group of people that are going to Mars, run by a guy, and the colony of people that live on Mars is run by a guy named Elon. What are the odds of that? Okay. Here's Elon's rocket that he says he wants to redesign, make it pointier. And to go to Mars. All of this is called predictive programming. It's just staging your mind for this whole Elon Musk nonsense. Elon Musk is 100% a total fraud. All the news about him buying Twitter, all the stuff with Tesla, all of it, it's all fraudulent. I have a video. It's a 5-minute video. Elon Musk is a fraud. I'll send you a link if you want to post it under here. And all it takes is 5 minutes to realize that Elon Musk is not a multi-billionaire. He's none of this. He's just a puppet for the elite. So getting to my new rockets video. Here it is. I think this is it. Okay, so this is just the other day. So I'm trying to pause it. Let me just pause this for a second. Why is that going? Oh, here it is. All right. So these rockets fall out of the sky upright. A little flame comes out of the bottom. Oh, am I not on the screen?
You're not on the screen.
I'm not
now,
on the
no.
screen. I'm not on the screen. Here I am. And let me just do this. See this happens when I'm not ready to put something on.
This is no worries. Do you want me
yeah.
to put you to speaker view so that we can just see your picture?
You can if you want.
Okay.
All right. Transition. All right. So these rockets come down and they land upright on a drone ship hundreds of miles off the coast of the USA here. No one's there to witness it, right? If you've ever been out on the open seas, rarely is it flat. It's always, there's always swells going back and forth. This thing falls out of the sky and lands upright, which can't be done, right? It's just the stability, the whole thing. But when we watch it, I caught an issue. Normally, just before it lands, the camera goes out because of the vibrations, they say, right? And then all of a sudden the camera comes back and there it is, right? Yeah. And so this is what they showed us. Here we go. So this is the camera view, and it's going to land all of a sudden here. Oh, look, here it is. It's just landing upright in the middle of the ocean. But you see this? Look at this. A layering box. Oh. This is their uncut video, right? I'm gonna reverse it here a second, but here it comes. Look, see that?
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
There's so many mistakes that they do, but this is just one. This was live footage. This happened live. See the little cut right here?
That's incredible.
Yeah. Crazy.
Absolutely crazy. And when you start looking into it, you just realize how we have been totally indoctrinated. Totally. People that I've spoken to have just said that I'll be made a fool of for even considering this idea.
That's what they said to me. And I say, is that your best globe proof? When someone says you're a fool, this and that, blah, 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 just say, is that your best globe proof? Because I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for one globe proof. One. Okay. And my Bitcoins are safe. Right. One globe proof, because there are none. And it's not until you try to prove the globe that you realize, wow, there are no proofs of the globe. And there's tons of proof of flat Earth.
Well, you've got on your website the 200 proofs.
That's one of the many videos that's on there. Yes.
Oh yeah. But I mean, just looking through that, I mean, it looks pretty foolproof, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I know a pilot, and he's understandably, I've heard a lot of pilots do believe that it is flat.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Sorry to interrupt. Watch this. So this rocket, this is falling back to Earth. Look how high it is. And supposedly, and this is from the rocket. Now look at the curve here. And then when they change cameras, watch it change cameras in a second. And now look at the crazy curve there. Okay. So they want us to believe that this is real. Now this is free falling back to Earth, like 20,000 miles an hour. Okay. And somehow these little milk crate fins are going to steer it right to that raft. Okay. There's like 400-mile-an-hour winds, crosswinds at like 40,000 feet. There's crazy wind currents. And this thing's going to fall and land right on this tiny little raft with no one to see it. Curve, no curve, curve, no curve. Now look, think about this. Look how high it is. This is way high. And in no time at all, it's going to land. Right.
Right.
And so let me just jump forward a little bit here. So here it goes. It's falling down. Let me just go a little forward. Oh, wait. Where's the landing? Okay, here it comes. So look, we've got the curve. Oh, look, concave Earth. Concave Earth all of a sudden. Okay. So if anyone thinks that, and the announcers always go, oh, you can see the Earth's curvature. They always comment on the Earth's curvature. All right, here it is. Here it comes. Right? Tell me you can't fake this. Right? So here it comes, and the announcers are going wild. Like, here it comes. And people, now this is in the middle of the ocean. Okay. Look, it's starting to shake. It must be getting close. Uh-oh, we're losing connection. Oh, that's the name of the boat. Of course, I still love you. They lost connection for a second. Let's see if we get it back. Oh, they're showing us the space one again, which never loses connection. So from outer space, we don't lose connection, but here on Earth, we do. Oh, it landed. Yay. This is what they do all the time. This is it. Look, and a bullseye. This thing is like 20 stories tall. It weighs 40,000 pounds empty. And that little fire and those little pads steered it to land. You couldn't, on some of the days that they do this, you can't even stand on a raft like that because you'd be wobbling all over the place. I have video of that. Let me see if I can find it. They landed, yeah, here we go. This is a 1950s Russian movie, predictive programming, versus this is supposedly real. Look at this. Now, I'm a ocean going windsurfer, and I'm looking at the conditions over here on the right. There's 5 to 10 foot swells out here. It's blowing 20 to 30 mile an hour wind, and this thing's gonna fall out of the sky and land upright on this little tiny raft. Okay. And people are like, yeah, why don't we have drones that do that? If they have this technology, how come we don't have little ones? My drone has 4 stabilizing, propellers.
Yes. Yeah.
This thing has just a little, it's just so stupid. It's like, I get frustrated thinking about people that actually believe this. Since we're on this, let's just really crush this one more time. Elon Musk and all of his nonsense. This is what a rocket. This is a test of his rocket that's going to go to Mars. Now, this is not edited. Okay, you ready?
Right.
So here it is. This thing is going to take off. We've got this little tin launch pad. Okay, interesting. Now we have this video looking down. Look, now it's going up pretty darn slow. This little flame, clean flame, made all this smoke, right? All this smoke. What's the smoke about? But there's no more smoke coming out of it. Now look at it. I want you to watch the smoke that's coming off it. Now look how high it is. Now look how fast it's going. This is barely moving. You can tell by the smoke. Now look how high it is. And now the engines have gone off and it's going to free fall. This is supposedly free falling. Watch the next edit, and I'm going to watch the speed of the smoke. Ready? Here it comes. Look at this. Is this free falling?
God.
Okay, this is supposedly free falling. Again, 40,000 pounds. Now look how high it is all of a sudden. This is unedited. This is what they showed us live with cheering crowds. Now watch. Now the engines are going to turn on. Oh, now look how high it is all of a sudden, right? And now watch. The engines are going to turn on, and it's going to go upright, and it's going to land. Now, watch this. And watch the hero shot. The camera somehow gets right underneath it. That was a movie edit right there. 2 of the 3 are going to go out. So these little flames. Now look at the flames. Look at the smoke. Is this thing really moving? This thing is free falling, and this little flame, fake smoke, and it lands upright. Anybody that can watch that and say, I believe in Elon Musk is controlling Twitter now, is a complete and total non-thinking NPC.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, it had to be pointed out to me. I mean, Ian went through the moon landing and how we used a telephone with a landline that we have trouble with today to connect to someone on the moon.
Absolutely. Are you familiar with the Red Bull space jump?
No.
So back 90 and 2000, I don't know, not that long ago, sometime in the 2000s, this guy he went up on a balloon and jumped from the edge of space. And he said, oh, I can see the curve of the Earth. I'm going to relate this back to the moon in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, this is all New Mexico. This is just the state of New Mexico, which is a small state in the USA. I didn't know
Yeah.
that New Mexico was a quarter of the earth, right? This is just clearly a fisheye lens. But when he went up to 120,000 feet, um, they lost communications with. They could barely communicate with him. They're underneath him. He's up going to 100 and I think 127,000 feet, and the communications were breaking up. They couldn't talk to him at 120,000 feet directly above them. Okay. But
Yeah.
we can talk to somebody in the 60s and 70s on the moon
Yeah.
with no delay.
Yeah.
You
When the
know,
president rung and congratulated him.
yeah.
And when it's pointed out to you, you think, God, how did we ever fall for that? But
That's
yeah.
See, that's the thing. See, belief is the enemy of knowing. We were told that the earth is a globe, and we believed it because we trusted the teachers and the scientists, the guy in the white lab coat, Bill Nye, the science guy, and our teachers that had a globe in the front of the class, and our books made by the Rockefellers that taught us all of the stuff. Easy. You can believe anything you want, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You believe I live in Connecticut, right?
Right.
You don't know it, you believe it because you were told, right?
Yeah.
So belief is the enemy of knowing, but your ego is the protector of belief because people just don't want to know that their whole life has been a lie. And it's a really hard thing to do. People are like, if I admit that, then I have to admit that I fell for this and I fell for that. And basically I fell for everything. And literally your ego is doing everything it can to protect you from having that sense of embarrassment, that sense of, wow, my whole life's a lie. And it's not until you have the courage to not care what anyone else says, to look at the evidence, and then it literally unplugs you from the matrix. The way I look at it is, you look at flat earthers. Flat earthers, if you had to pick a character in a movie, flat earthers are Neo at the end of the Matrix. Globers aren't even Neo at the beginning when he is depressed. He's lost. Something's wrong with the world. Globers are some of them are the Mr. Smith, but they're just these NPCs walking around that'll just believe anything.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I can't say anything because I was asleep, to all of this for so long.
Yeah.
Not questioning it at all.
Well, we all did. We all did. So how long have you been awake to this?
Well, to this is from like Ian, really, last September. I mean, that recent, obviously I had a bit of an interest before, but he completely awakened me to the interest of it.
So let me ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
Besides the turmoil that you may have with some family and friends who aren't ready to wake up yet, how's life?
What, once you know this, or once you start looking at it?
Once you know it, it's exciting. Have you been bored for a single second since Ian woke you up?
No, not for a single second. No.
Boredom is a thing of the past. I haven't been bored since 2015. Okay, not for a minute. If you have insomnia, if you're stuck in traffic, if you're waiting in a line at a supermarket or whatever, I always got something plugged into my ear, always listening, always thinking, coming up with new ways to test things. Boredom is for Globers. I'm not interested.
Oh my gosh. Harry, a friend of mine who's a definite flat earther, he was so excited to know I was speaking to you today. He said, if you want to speak to anyone about flat earth, speak to you.
All right.
Oh, so that's amazing. How much info? Oh, that was about how much more land, yeah, which we've already talked about. If we're on a dome, is there a place of exit to explore further?
I don't know.
Because that seems a bit Truman Show, doesn't it?
I don't believe that we're enclosed in a dome. I believe that it may be something more like this, or even like this, where it goes on and on and on. There's a Japanese map that was discovered. It's supposedly 10 centuries old that looked like this. Okay, you got like 30 some odd continents out here, 30 more continents. Okay, or we live in this puddle, right? Think of Antarctica as just we'll make it as a football field. Antarctica is a football field, and then somewhere in that football field, there's a little hole about a foot in diameter, and you fill it with water, and you put a bunch of islands there. That's our entire world. Maybe there's other holes all over the place with all full other worlds. Maybe it's like that. Maybe there's just more land around here. Maybe this is it. You know, the Bible literists will say, well, God said he created the earth and the firmament, and that's all there is. Well, to me, I don't know. Did he mention that maybe there's more beyond Antarctica, part of this world? Maybe part of Earth is extended. You know,
Yeah.
there and at this point, you know, there's the Bible has been translated so many times. I don't know what's been hidden. You know, they're hiding parts of the Bible that they don't want us to see. Um, you know, all of this division of all these different religions, it's all just to divide us. Divide and conquer is the way, you know, is how they do it. There was a worldwide unified world here in the 1800s. 1800s. That's not that long ago. Okay.
Yeah.
And they divided us since then by countries, by sports teams, by political parties, by sexes, divide the sexes. I mean, what they're doing to the world right now is absolute insanity. And whether that they even divide us into, you know, oh, you're a truther, well, I'm an NPC. Well, now they divided us even further. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's amazing how people will fight with each other when they realize that, you know, we're all part of the same thing.
Absolutely, and that's it. Love conquers everything. Ian said that it wasn't much more than 100 years ago that they were actually teaching flat Earth.
Absolutely. I interviewed a woman named Ruth, back in February of 2020, and I was interviewing her about the World's Fairs because that was an amazing takeover. That's basically the takeover, and this is Ruth here. And I had such a good conversation with her. She had such a good memory. She's 102 years old, and I said, "What did they teach you in elementary school about the Earth?" And she said they taught me the Earth was flat in the 1920s. Okay,
just boosted that.
And then when I told her the truth, she literally broke down in tears, and it all made sense. She's like, "I've always known it. I've always known it." Then we found a woman in Croatia that said in 1930s. Then I found a guy just in Mexico when I was with Ian. Our friend Gene, our new friend Gene, he said in the late 1950s and even into the early 60s, they were teaching globe Earth and flat Earth in school because they didn't know. Then the Rockefellers came in and took it all away. Flat Earth went away, and you know, like it never existed. The truth is the Earth is testably, measurably, scientifically, provably flat. And the globe lie is a new lie, right? You look at these are all the maps of the agencies that run the world, the United Nations. They use the flat Earth map, right?
Yeah.
This is the best map that we have. Is it perfect? I think it's more perfect than many flat earthers realize. People go, well, Australia is too long. Well, that's because you're used to looking at Australia wrapped around wrapped around a globe, okay? And there is a lot of evidence now coming out that Australia is this wide, right? Nobody dragged the tape measure across Australia and measured it.
No.
Okay, they're assuming all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, they're assuming it, and the people say, well, this is just a projection of the globe. Well, this map has been around. It's been in all the libraries, all the schools until the 1940s and 50s where it was removed. Okay. This map was everywhere. And I say the globe is just this map wrapped around a sphere.
Ah.
See, all of that, they bring all of Antarctica in. They go, oh, Antarctica is just a little continent. No one can go, right? Nobody can go to Antarctica. And it's funny, you know, all of the aerial photographs of Antarctica, that there's no pictures of Antarctica from space. They're all just cartoons. That all the shots of Antarctica, look up an image of Antarctica from space. Now, you will see little villages and stuff because along the shoreline, there's spaces. There's people. You can get a job there. I have a flat earther that was a plumber. He was there for a year, long before he was a flat earther.
God.
And there's many mysteries in Antarctica and proofs that that we don't live on a spinning ball. For one is, the 24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't exist. It hasn't been filmed. And what we say, Crow's law of high definition, is anything interesting that can be filmed in high def will be filmed in high def. Well, it's only been faked like 3 times, and the fakes are just pathetic that you don't even really need that much of a discerning eye to see that they're faked. Although we can go to Norway and Alaska, and every year we can film the sun ourselves circling around, right?
So is that how we get night and day then? Because it's circling us.
Correct. Let me show you on my app real quick. So here's a map of the world, and the sun circles around. It's only when the sun is near you that it's high in the sky. Like if you're outside standing under a street light, that's your 12 noon sun. And the excuse me, the street light down the road is your later in the day sun. It gets lower and lower and lower because it goes away. Yeah. So wherever the sun is, it's noon. So here in Sydney, Australia, it's early morning, sun's rising. Excuse me. It's noon right now, but 2 time zones later, it's noon over on Western Australia. And now the sun's going to rise over here. And as it comes around, it brings its light with it. And it's here in the UK. It's going to be noon there, but the sun is just rising here in the United States where I am.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. And the sun also migrates in and out between the inner yellow line. The inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. So I'll move it to June. And in June, that's when we have our summer because the sun is closer to us. What happens when it's closer to us? It's higher in the sky. It's closer, it's higher. That's why the sun is above us in the summer.
Yeah.
And then Australia is having their winter while we have our summer. But if I move it 6 months forward, the sun in December goes out. It's over Australia. We're freezing our butts off because when the sun comes around, it doesn't come anywhere near us. And when it's farther away, it's lower in the sky. Makes sense.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
It makes total sense. The problem is people aren't taught how to think that way. And when you try to explain it to a glober, their brains just short circuit, because they haven't used their brains at all to think. I don't know how familiar you are with the Matrix again. Neo, when they first pulled him out of the Matrix, and they had him on the recovery bed, hooked up to all of those, IVs and everything.
Yeah,
and he's like, why do my eyes hurt? Do you remember what they said? Because you've never used them before.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay, so that's the same analogy. Is why do people like after I'm on a show, not on a show of people that are like, hey, flat Earth is stupid because they've never looked into it. I give them all this information, then they all say my brain hurts. I'm like, because you never used it before.
But yeah,
right? And you know how science tells us. They tell us 90% of our brain is not used. We only use 10% of our brains.
Yes.
Right? They told us that. Oh, I never believed that, but it's absolutely true. If you live in the heliocentric matrix, you're not using 90% of your brain. They don't want you to switch on all of your brain because they will. They can't survive. They can't survive that. No ruling class will ever educate their people to a point where they could challenge their authority.
I'll just show you this example that Harry showed me, and this made absolute perfect sense. So he had a laptop.
Yes.
And he just held it up like that. So he said, say that is the globe.
Yep.
The Earth. And a rocket goes up from UK, goes up in the sky from the UK. How's Australia going to see it? Because it's going up from there.
They won't. Right.
Yeah, that really made sense to me because, where it's not going anywhere near Australia for Australia's sake. Because if a rocket goes up, they'll be filming it, showing us.
Right.
But where's it actually going?
Right. which way is up. It's absolute insanity. I'll show you a rocket in a second that was launched in the United States that could see the moon while it's over Australia. That's impossible. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with my app. Here is the UK, and these are the people that are awake near you. Do you have the app?
No, I don't.
Well, Ian has completely failed his job waking you up.
Oh, he's probably told me, I'm not very good on apps.
Ian's dead to me. That's it. It's over. I'm done with him. So this shows you all of the other people near you. And this is actually, you're the first person ever seeing this. If you look in the circles, there's some of them have icons. That'll show you who has filled out a profile and you can tap on a dot and up comes the person and you could send them a message. So like if you were in the UK here, let me just bring this back home. So I'll go this and I'll say, hey, I'm going to set mine to 50 kilometers and it's going to draw a circle around 50 kilometers. And inside that 50 kilometers, I have 340 people. I could send them a message. Hey, I'm having a Flat Earth meetup at Joe's Bar and Grill, Saturday, 9 p.m. Send them all a message. And the beautiful thing is, as you realize, when you go out to socialize, are you looking for other flat earthers or other people that you can wake up to flat Earth? Pretty much, right?
Well, now I'm at a stand in the park. I mean, I'm very happy to talk about it, definitely.
Yeah, so it's more fun to be around flat earthers. So people are using this literally as a dating app now. They're using it to find jobs. Back in 2015, 2016, when I was talking flat Earth, people would go, man, you're really ruining your life. You're never going to get a job. No one's ever going to hire you. Well, guess what? The tides have changed because flat earthers don't want to work for other non-flat earthers, and flat earthers don't want to hire non-flat earthers. So we're taking over, and you got a problem because we're only hiring flat earthers. We're only working for flat earthers. So the globe, the archaic globe model, is a dying breed. But the app is a really great way to find other people around you. It's instead of divide and conquer, it's bring together and conquer them.
Oh,
right?
That's so good.
Right. And actually, I got some new features coming out. It's actually coming out tomorrow. There's going to be a big update that everybody will have this ability to see the icons. They'll have ways to refer other people, and then your icon will change as you get more and more referrals. And then that'll unlock other things. So super fun. But the app, the beautiful thing about the app is if you Google Flat Earth, you get all propaganda. You get all elite push nonsense. Hey, top 10 reasons the Earth is flat. You're going to get top 10 reasons the Earth is not flat. Okay. So when you go, they're hiding it. And every Flat Earth video has a Wikipedia thing that says, oh, Flat Earth, an ancient, archaic, debunked, system. Nonsense. Those are just words. Okay. So every day there's a new featured video. You tap right here, watch the new video. And what I tell people is, hey, you think Flat Earth is stupid? Watch the video every day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think the Earth is still a globe, send me your proof and you win 3 Bitcoins. But before you do, you have to hit the question mark button and up comes probably the questions you're going to ask. Hey, what about eclipses? What about ships over the horizon? What about seasons? What about the Coriolis effect, right? And if I click like, what about the Coriolis effect? Up comes a whole bunch of videos on Coriolis.
Wow.
And then you'll be like, oh, well, that didn't work. And then you go back to the drawing board. And after a few tries, you'll give up and you'll become a flat earther. And then life just gets better. Also, there's just tons of resources, books, tons of books, amazing. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Martin Leakey. He did a lot of stuff on Tartaria. Great flat earther. His book is amazing. So many different things to look at.
And there's the history of the lost Earth, and that's around the flat Earth as well, isn't it? So
the lost history of flat Earth, which is up on the upper right here, upper right there.
Yeah,
that's by E. Warrenon, and let that just load for a second. And the first episode, it's episode 1 through 7, is 5 hours. All right.
Yeah, I
And
know.
so, did you watch it?
I've got to 3 hours, just over 3 hours
And
now.
your mind is blown, right?
I'm completely.
I've watched it 3 times already, and I can't wait to watch it again because
Yeah,
it's that good. But
yeah.
here's the thing: if you're new to flat Earth, I wouldn't start there. It's like, hey, I've never gone to the gym. I'm going to go bench press 500 pounds and kill myself. Okay, that
Yeah.
literally could kill you if you watch that. I more recommend starting here. Okay, that says Flat Earth movies. You hit that. This is what I call my Flat Earth crash course. First one right now is Flatten the Curve, a bunch of military whistleblowers. Pretty
Oh,
good, right? Then level, and then the next level, that's actually the name of the movie, The Next Level, is coming out on Flat Earth Day, April 22nd. And that'll be in here. That's going to be a great one. And it's going to be great because I'm in it. So that's
oh,
not,
brilliant.
yeah, yeah. So I challenge anyone to watch just these first 3 videos. Watch them on the big screen, get some popcorn, crack a beer, whatever you want, cup of tea. Watch them, and your heliocentric belief system will be destroyed.
Can I ask you, I've got 2 questions that have come in because Renee's sending me any questions that come in.
Sure.
One of them is if our planet is flat, then is all planets flat?
Yeah. So planets used to be called wandering stars, and they're made up. They're made up by Disney and NASA. So when you look up and see Mars or Jupiter in the sky, they're brighter than any star in the sky,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, how is a dusty, dirty, gassy ball reflecting a distant sun where the light is traveling and diminishing as it travels back to Earth and being brighter than any star? Okay. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And so, what are planets? Well, they're here within the Earth system. They're non-physical. Okay. Um, they're lights in the sky. If you look up in the sky, when I say the luminaries in the sky, I talk about the sun, moon, and stars. Nobody has ever proven how big they are, how far they are, even if they're solid, right? If we look at Mars through our advanced optics now, P1000, it's
Yeah.
not a dusty, dirty ball. It's an energetic, pulsing orb of light. You know, when we look at when NASA shows us planets, they show us some garbage, right?
Right.
They show us, this is what NASA shows us,
Yeah.
but this is what we see when we look through real optics, right? Although, back in the days of Copernicus, where he had a little tube with a hand ground glass telescope, crappy telescope, he could see stuff on Mars that we can't see today, right? It's all made up stories. All of it is made up stories,
God.
right? And
Yeah.
people see what they want to see. The most famous picture of Saturn, which is basically the only picture of Saturn, it looks like this. This is amazing. It's in all the textbooks. But when we take it off of NASA's website, crank it up in Photoshop, you can see that it's crappily put together. It's a layered image, just like we saw with NASA's landing on that drone ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
The other one then, the chap saying, we've got a question from, well, it doesn't matter. It says, is there space then? Is there space?
Is there space? No, there's no space. Space is let me get myself back on the screen here.
So does space exist, and can people go to space?
No one has ever been higher than 73 miles. Okay, no, not nobody. I don't even think a person has been up there. I think just a rocket has been up there. Space is most likely water. We had a NASA whistleblower we're communicating with, just through email. So again, could have been scammed, but the stuff he was telling us was amazing. And he's like, 73 miles is the limit where it becomes plasma, then it becomes thicker, and then it becomes solid. And they're not even though they have the ability to go up and investigate, they're not allowed to. And that's all he would elaborate on it. They're not allowed to. Who's not allowing them? Is it the owners of NASA? Is it the controllers of NASA? you know, I don't know. So that's interesting. And then all of the evidence here, when we look and we see rockets skimming across the firmament, it looks like a boat wake, you know. And
Yeah.
when we see, you know, are you familiar with the Go Fast rocket? So the Go Fast rocket was an amateur rocket that was set up here in Arizona, and it went up. It went straight up. And let me just pull it up here. It went straight up. Oh, that's the wrong one. Where is that rocket? Go fast. Oh, there it is. 1 second. So this rocket went straight up. And now they gave us an uninterrupted view down. There was also a side camera. NASA edit. You know, NASA has like 7 edits before it even gets off the launch pad. But this thing went up. It went to 73 miles. And there's no sound on this, but if you could hear it with a sound, it goes kerplunk, and it went into something thicker. It almost sounded like water, but if it hit water, it would have destroyed the rocket, right? And then it kind of floated weird for a little bit, but then all of a sudden, as it rolled over on its side, you could see the moon. Here comes the moon right there. That's the moon. Okay, pretty flat horizon too. See the moon. Well, the moon at that time was over Australia. So the rocket took off here. So if the Earth was a basketball, Arizona was the top of the basketball. That rocket was a fraction of a millimeter over the basketball. And it could see the moon underneath the basketball. I'm sorry, that doesn't work. You with me?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We've got another question saying, so what about ETs?
Well, extraterrestrials. Let's break down the word. Extra, what does that mean?
Oh, extra on a film set?
Extra means more. More, extra on a film set, right? And terrestrial, what does that mean?
Of a certain place.
Of land. Terra. Extra terra. Extra land. Okay?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So extra land. So where could there be extra land? You know where? Extra land could be extra land here. If we lived here in the inner space, what would this be considered?
Oh, extra land.
Extra
territory.
Extra territory. So if you lived there, you'd be an extraterrestrial from where? Outer space.
Oh.
The outer space. This is the inner space. This is the outer space.
Oh, gosh.
Extraterrestrials from outer space. Look on that. Here's another play on words. So the sun circles around the Arctic, right? So this yellow line here, the Tropic of Cancer, everything inside of that would be considered the Arctic area. Everything outside of the Tropic of Capricorn would be considered the Antarctic area. And everything in between the two tropics is the tropics. Okay? The tropics, the sun travels over, in the course of a year, the sun will pass over wherever you are in the tropics twice. For us, the sun only comes near us once, and then it turns around and goes away. And the same thing out here. It comes near us, comes near Australia once, and then it goes away. Although the northern Australia is in the tropics, but the southern Australia is not. Okay, so what is the sun doing? If you're inside this circle here, what is the sun doing? It's arcing around you. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
The Arctic.
Oh, right, yes.
If you're out here, is it arcing around you?
No.
It's coming towards you and it's arcing away. It's antarcing. The Antarctic.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also a little research that says the definition of the word the Arctic means the north. The north or the center. And the Antarctic, it means not the north, not the center. Okay? I mean, the words have so much meaning, right? They're always telling us what's going on. Airplanes, what do airplanes do? They fly it in the air over the globe or over the plane.
I don't know what's usual. Is it plane?
Airplane. Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane.
Right. Yeah.
There you go. Any other questions?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Astrology. How do we get astrology then? Because like tomorrow specifically, there's two planets that haven't been conjunct for absolutely years. And it's a really special day. I've forgotten what the two planets are. How does that work then?
Yeah. So let's look at that. First, they tell us that our solar system's flat. Why do they tell us that? Because the luminaries that we see in the sky are all circling over the flat Earth. That's how all the planets, everything is on the same plane. They want you to believe that we're chasing the sun at a half a million miles per hour. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, but somehow all of the planets stay perfectly lined up with the sun as it's careening through the galaxy. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour. We're chasing the sun at a half a million miles per hour. But somehow we know where all of the planets are going to be. We know when these alignments are going to happen, when they last happen, right? In science, how do they know that? Well, in science, in technology today, we can take the world's best supercomputer and we have a thing called the three-body problem. Okay, the three-body problem says that it shows that you can make a computer model and put a sun in it and a planet in it and put them in orbit, and it'll predict what it's going to do graphically, whatever, forever. It'll always know what it's going to do. Add one more body in there, a moon or a planet, and the entire thing goes into chaos mode and never repeats itself. Okay?
Right.
That's three bodies. Are there more than three bodies in our solar system? Yeah, there's like 80, right, or more. And in our galaxy, there's 100 billion, they tell us, or more than that, 100 billion stars with, dozens of planets and moons each. And somehow they know where everything's going to be. Go out tonight and look at the stars at a certain time, draw a little chart, say, okay, I see this little pattern, I see that. And then go out the next year, same night, same time, and every single star will be in the exact same position. Okay. Yeah. How's that possible in a heliocentric beehive universe? It's absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. Right. So I'm going to answer your question first. I'm going to answer your question first.
Yeah.
So this is called the Antikythera mechanism. It was found off of Greece, off the island of Antikythera, and a few thousand years old. And it's a highly precision instrument. And they X-rayed it and they CAT scanned it and they figured out what it is. And it shows the positions of the luminaries, the wandering stars, planets, phases of the moon, eclipses. It predicts all of them. And it shows us that eclipses happen every year, but then the cycle happens every 18 years. It repeats, right? That's a fine clock. That's not a heliocentric system. So astrologers, I used to laugh at astrology, but it's like, how can Mars in retrograde affect my day? Mars is 25 million miles away and it can't even affect the tides. That was my thinking. Okay. But when in reality, Mars is energetic. It's named after a god. All the wandering stars are. It's right here within the Earth system. Okay. It's connected to me energetically, right? All of this stuff matters. And so if you're a heliocentric believer, you can chart the movements of these things, but they're really based over a flat, non-moving Earth. Why in astrology do they track all of the movements of all of the planets, but they don't track the movement of the Earth, right? The Earth is moving 4.5 billion miles a year, okay? But in astrology, it ignores that. It says, oh no, the Earth is, we're relative to the Earth and everything's moving with us. It's nonsense. You could be an okay astrologer believing in heliocentrism, but once you understand that it's all based on a flat Earth, you become a super powerful astrologer. Astrology only makes sense on a flat Earth, right? There's no way any of this stuff could happen, right? the chances that the sun is 400 times bigger and 400 times farther than the moon, which makes them the same size, so they line up, okay? The chances of them lining up like that are zero, okay?
Yeah.
Zero to 0.000000001, maybe, okay? The chances of them happening a second time are that times an infinity, okay? But that happens every year and it repeats every 18 years. That is a fine clock. The sky is a perfect clock, finely designed by the creator, whoever that is, okay? That's your own journey,
Yeah.
right? And once you understand that, then astrology really becomes powerful, okay? Super, super powerful. And I literally laughed at astrology for many years. But here in the app, if you go to the shopping cart button, this is a shortcut button. Where's my shopping cart button? And you scroll down. This one right here, Stellar Guidance. This woman reached out to me and gave me a reading. Now, she's very expensive, but you don't get what you don't pay for in this world, unfortunately. Okay.
Yeah.
She is, she did a reading for me. It was many hours. Okay. And it seemed like 15 minutes. And everything that she said happened. Okay. It's not like she's predicting the future. She just showed me the cycles that we're going through and what was going to happen energetically and when I should make decisions and stuff. And she was 100% right. Okay. So that's why I have her in here. This is a flat earth astrologer. Don't believe me? Reach out to her. Get a reading. And yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So
well, we've got a really good friend, Pam Gregory, who's a marvelous astrologer. And I've had a reading with her back in 2012. And everything, it's like she knew me from the day I was born.
Is she a flat earther?
That accurate? No.
Okay, but introduce her to flat earth.
I did. I was talking to her about it yesterday.
Have her check out Santos Bonacci from the Syncretism Society, and he's an astrotheologist or whatever he calls himself, Mr. Astrotheology. His work is amazing. And once this is the amazing thing, when you're an astrologer and you're into it and you're good at it, that's great. And then once you see the flat earth, you go, how did I ever miss this? It's like, how did I ever miss this? And then your work, it literally just gets supercharged. Astrology makes zero sense in a beehive crazy universe. Okay. Throw a rock at a beehive, take a picture, and then a year later, throw a rock at the beehive again and take the same picture. Okay.
Oh, amazing, David. Our hour's up. Just quickly, are you able to say about moon and water? And my lovely man, he died at the end of last year, but Franco De Nicola from Canada, he did 2 interviews with me, and he said the moon was switched off 18 months ago, which would now be 2 years ago. It was no longer needed. It was put in place about 10,000 years ago. And yeah, I don't know. Obviously, a lot of people believe that the water is linked to how the moon, tides and everything.
Yeah, the tides are not linked to the moon. When there is a full moon, there are some bigger tides. Well, that makes no sense because a new moon has the same gravity, if gravity was a thing, as a full moon. The sun and the moon are electric and magnetic. They're the anode and cathode of the Earth system. So when the moon is powered up, that's when you would have a bigger tide. But the tides all over the Earth make absolutely no sense. We live on this giant battery. So the moon is the anode and the sun is the cathode. The salt water carries the current. The land is the salt bridge. It's a giant free energy system. Look into the Tataria stuff, the history of flat Earth. It'll teach you about that. I'm actually doing a show today on Beth Martin's channel at 6 p.m. Eastern United States. So that's really late for you, midnight. And I'm on with Campbell from Autodidactic, a great Tartarian researcher. And we're going to I don't even know what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be awesome. So check that out. Beth Martin's, I think that's the name of her channel, Beth Martin. But everything will be linked. All my stuff is linked in my app under the web page. all my interviews. This interview, I have to figure out how to get it on there because we're on Facebook. Actually, do you upload this to YouTube at all or no?
I doubt YouTube will let me stay on it with you.
Uh, no,
You know,
no.
but I'll put it on BitChute.
Yeah, all right, we'll talk about that. No problem.
Okay, brilliant.
So the whole idea that the moon switched on, switched off, I don't know, man. The moon, no, but the moon is the biggest mystery of all. And when you look at it, it's tied to the reproduction cycle of the Earth. There's people like Odin's alchemy that talk about, the sun and the moon are the moon. It delivers and removes souls from Earth, and it has to do with women's reproductive cycles. It's the same, okay? And
Yeah.
and maybe our souls come from the stars. Who knows? All of this stuff is fascinating to look into, but personally, I don't think the moon that we see is a physical object at all.
Wow. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating. Because there
Yeah.
is a couple more questions, but hopefully I
No,
can.
go ahead. Go ahead. I'll give you 5 more minutes. You got a couple more questions? Go.
Oh, well, there's one. So I'm just going to ask you. Oh, yeah. My friend said when I was talking with her one day, and she's a definite awake to what's going on. I don't know if she's a flat earther because I've not had that conversation. But she said that there's a chap, say in Basingstoke, which is near us. And when he goes to work in the morning, he goes off to work and his wife thinks he's just gone to work. He gets in a lift and he goes to Mars, works for a whole week, comes back. This is a bit off topic probably. Comes back and she thinks he's only been gone 9 till 5, but he's actually been on Mars for a week. How does that sound to you?
So I don't want to call him a liar because he may not be lying. If there is such a thing as a I don't know what they call it, a space elevator, or what, not a space elevator, a time portal, whatever portal he goes in, right? Let's pretend that's real. Okay. Well, how do you know that this isn't the Apollo system here? This is the Mars system out here. Okay. Right. So this could be what he thinks is Mars. Right. And maybe he's teleporting out there. Who knows? Right. Personally, if I had to lay down an answer, I don't know where this story's coming from. Is he controlled opposition? I don't think so. Is he hypnotized? I don't know. Is he believe what he's saying? I don't know. I don't know any of it. But a lot of people think that the next outer realm is the sun is Mars and the moon is Jupiter. No, the moon is Venus. Venus has phases just like our moon. And then the next system out, Saturn is the sun and Jupiter is the moon. Okay?
Yeah.
And when NASA says they want to go to Mars, they're not kidding. Mars here in the Earth system. Okay? So who knows? Who knows what's going on there?
And the last thing, global warming. Have we got global warming?
Total 100. Well, this is going to go on. I'm going to put this on YouTube. So I'm not going to say that it's not, well, how can I say it? Complete and total BS. Okay. Now, and everyone's ignoring what's going on in our skies. Everyone's ignoring all of that, right? One burp of a volcano puts out more carbon dioxide, than all of the cars, their entire climate model thing is ridiculous. Okay. All of it's nonsense. And when you look into it, it's all about control. It's all about controlling human movements. Bill Gates says he wants to get us down to carbon zero. Okay. That means that, that he wants to eliminate us.
Yeah.
So pollution is bad. We should not pollute, but the belief that we're causing global warming is complete and total nonsense.
I've heard that
right?
from so many.
Complete and total nonsense.
Yeah.
So listen, for those of your listeners, I don't know how many of them are flat earthers. If you are, congratulations. Now is the time to wake up other people. We need to wake up as many people as possible, because when you wake up to the heliocentric nonsense, you unplug from their matrix. You literally unplug and stop feeding the evil that's running this world. And so that's why, with all the stuff that's going on in the world, I'm here talking about flat Earth, because this is the most important topic of our time. And because of the censorship, it's really difficult to find the information. So the app is the best way. The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can find all of this stuff, all the links. You can find my Flat Earth Crash Course, which is a series of videos that I challenge you to get through 3, and you won't make it. It's all at flatearthdave.com. So check that out. The app is $3, right? There's an $11 a year subscription if you want to be able to communicate with other flat earthers, if you want to be able to send messages and whatnot. But check it out.
That's so reasonable. Thank you, Dave.
It's so ridiculous. It's unbelievable. And people's like, oh my God, you're in this for the money. I'm not. I'm in this to save the world. Am I going to save the world? I don't know if I'm going to save the world, but I'm in it to make the world a better place for my kids and me.
Exactly.
Screw the kids. I want a better place for me.
Oh, David, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks. See ya.
Been brilliant listening to you. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thanks, anyone that's watching.